Transgenderism? Just say no. No, you're not a woman or a man just because you say you are. No, we won't play your silly pronoun games. No, we won't dismantle and reconfigure all the progress humanity has made over the past millennia just to cater to the nonsensical whims and fragile egos of a tiny segment of society whose lives are governed by a mental disorder. So, I'm sorry, but no, just no. This is Dr. Avenir. Just say no. When it comes to dealing with transgenderism, just say no. We don't have to pretend these kooks and crackpots are serious. Literally, mentally ill people who represent far less than 1% of the population, are demanding that we upend the entirety of the structure of everything we've ever done in order to cater to their mental illness. Just say no. This is the quintessence of what we would call a first world problem. These are not things that people in third world countries are worried about. People in third world countries are worried about where their next meal is coming from, or whether agents of the government are going to come knocking on their door and drag them away in the middle of the night. They don't have time to wonder whether the configuration of their body conforms to their, quote, gender identity, end quote. That nonsense is restricted to silly people and crazy people in the first world. It's a first world problem. And in this case, the first world problem has a very easy first world solution. That first world solution is so simple that it's silly that I would even have to say it. Just say no. No, if you were born a dude, you can't be a woman now. No, if you were born a woman, you can't be a dude now. Sorry, no. We don't have to be cruel or mean to these people in any way, shape, or form. But it's not being nice to them to pretend that their emotional disorder or mental disorder is a normal thing. For example, it's not being nice to cancer patients to pretend that their cancer is normal and to say, oh, just forget about it, don't worry about it, it's normal. That wouldn't be nice. Just as for people with mental illness, it's not being nice to them to pretend that their mental illness is normal. So we have to have the courage and intestinal fortitude, if you will, to just say no. If you were born a dude, you have to play against dudes in sports. If you were born a woman, you have to play against women in sports. If you were born a dude, you can't hang around in women's locker rooms or women's restrooms. If you were born a woman, you can't hang around in dudes' locker rooms or restrooms. Simple. Very, very simple. Just say no. That solves the problem overnight. Reclassify a mental disorder as what it is. A mental disorder. Reclassify a mental illness as what it is. A mental illness. How did we ever get to a place in the United States of America, the most advanced country that's ever been, where people are now pretending that a man can be a woman just by saying that he's a woman, or a woman can be a man just by saying that she's a man? We just have to say no. That's all there is to it. The problem would go away overnight. The problem would go away overnight because the real problem is a lack of spine. That's the only problem that we're experiencing. And that problem engenders other problems, where you can get situations where Riley Gaines, a world-class women's swimmer, goes out and speaks to a crowd, and then a bunch of deluded people who have decided that transgenderism is something normal can physically attack this woman, and no one does a damned thing about it. That's psychotic. That is as nuts as it can possibly be, and it's a first world problem because, I shouldn't have to remind you, in the third world, they're not wondering whether or not their body construction matches their gender identity. They're worried about whether they're going to be able to put food on their family's plates that evening, or again, whether or not representatives of their government are going to come and bang down their door and drag them away to some gulag somewhere. That's what they worry about in the third world. In the first world, we worry about just the most incredibly stupid and ridiculous things about which we could simply just say no, and should just say no. For crying out loud, here in America, we're on the verge of putting together rocket ships that can send men to Mars, there to build colonies of human beings. And we have a massive amount of people in this country worried about whether or not men can be women and women can be men. Are you freaking kidding me? Take these fringe crackpots gently by the shoulder, look them squarely in the eye, and just say no. People are kooks, they're absolutely crazy, they've gone around the bend, they spend their time wasting their time worrying, again, about whether a man can be a woman or a woman can be a man. And it's so stupid as to boggle the mind. How much time, energy, and money have we wasted on this crack pottery already? Nancy Reagan said it very well more than 40 years ago, and she was talking about drugs. She said, all you have to do is just say no. That remains true to this very day. All we have to do in America is look the transgenderists straight in the eye and just say no. No. Nicely, kindly, calmly, compassionately, clearly, very firmly, no. It'll always be no. It is important to point out that it's the so-called progressive leftists who are supporting the whole transgender scam in the name of, quote, progress, end quote. In other words, these bastards want us to dismantle and reconfigure all the massive progress we've made in the past in order to support their new notion of progress, which is somehow to believe in magic. Yep, magic. Magic where a man can just be a woman, or a woman can just be a man, merely by speaking it into being. What we all should conclude is very simple. The main obstacle to any progress in society is the movement that labels itself progressive. When it comes to transgenderism, the sane world, the first world, the free world needs just to say no. It's the same with the so-called progressive left. Just say no. These people are crazy. We don't have to indulge their craziness. Just say no. The rest of us who never became con men had to go out and learn marketable skills to learn to market ourselves to the rest of the world such that they might hire us so we could obtain gainful employment and put a roof over our heads and food on our families' plates. We never had the time to sit down and contemplate our body parts and wonder whether they conformed to our gender identity. There's no time for that. We had to go out and make a living. What a luxury to be able to spend our time gazing at our navels and gazing at our body parts and wondering whether they conform to our gender identity. Obviously, some first world, rich, spoiled brats problem, but not a problem for a sane nation, not a problem for sane people, and not a problem for more than 99% of the country, and not a problem for anyone in the third world. Just say no to these kooks and self-absorbed nitwits and crackpots. No, I won't pretend you're a man or a woman if you're not. And no, I won't be playing any of your silly pronoun games. And no, I won't change my language in any way, shape, or form to protect your tender sensibilities. Sorry, no. I wish you all the very best in life, but no, I will not be catering to your delusions. I will not be pretending that transgenderism is a thing. There is no such thing. No, I will not be playing your silly pronoun games. No to all of that. And when you all attacked Riley Gaines physically, you all proved you richly deserve the following. Go to hell, you bastards. Bring your silly perverted games with you. The rest of us in society are just saying no.